Welcome to Smex Ed. Class is in session.
I'm your host, Amanda King, and I'm here to teach anybody who wants to fucking listen how to have the audacity to say fuck it to societal standards and live their most authentic life. This podcast is dedicated to bringing the sexual conversations we have behind doors onto the main fucking stage. Because sex, masturbation, squirting, guess what? It is all normal. And by bringing these conversations to the forefront, we help people feel less alone in this world. We help them feel safe. We help them gain their power back. We help them step into their confidence and express themselves sexually in this world unapologetically. Because it takes fucking audacity to be your truest self. And we have a boatloads of audacity all up in this bitch. So let me ask you this. Are you ready for some epic shit?
Let's discuss anal sex since we received a anal plug from Bellessa. So when we are talking about anal sex, when do we start using anal plugs? It's typically a question that I receive often in the DMs. So here are a few pieces of advice. If you have never participated in anal penetration before, I highly suggest that you focus on anal stimulation outside of the anus first. And what I mean by that is any type of stimulation. You could use your finger, you can use a toy like a vibrator, you can use an oral sex toy, and I basically want you to use that toy and stimulate the outer aspect of the anus. If you have never felt stimulation in that area before, the whole goal at the beginning is just to get used to the feeling of something being back there. And the reason this is because if you try to go from never having stimulation in your entire life to trying to penetrate, you are naturally going to seize up. So the anus is a muscle, and if it only typically has the capability of pushing things out, right, with bowel movements. So when we are putting something in there, it's already foreign to the cavity to feel that sensation. On top of that, if you are nervous and or tense, anytime you try to penetrate yourself, you're going to clench down on your anus. If you are clenching down, there is no way that something is going to get up in there for you to be able to enjoy. So focusing on outward stimulation of either a toy, or it can be your partner's fingers, and it can be rimming, which is basically oral sex for the anus. This is going to get your body just relaxing to that style stimulation. Now, when you are ready to move up to the penetration aspect, yes, you can jump into toys, and there are a bunch of toys that you could look into. I would highly suggest an anal training kit. You can see them in the back, or a very small butt plug. However, I do suggest you try using your fingers first. And if you're like, ew, I can't shove my finger up your bum. Yes, you can. You've probably shoved your finger inside of you and or inside of someone else. The bum is not that different from a sensation. So this is what I want you to focus on. I want you to, 1, lube up one finger, one single finger. Number 2, if you are doing this on a partner and you have nails, make sure your nails are trimmed short, or there are actually like finger condoms that you can put over your longer nails so that penetration isn't as painful. We never want it to be painful. Then you are going to lube the outside of the anus with a water-based lubricant, not spit. People, not spit. Water-based lubricants for both. Then you are going to take your finger and you are just going to gently push a little bit in, like not even a full inch in order for your body to relax against your finger. Now, as a receiver, if you are penetrating yourself or your partner is doing it, the idea of accepting something into the anal cavity is you need to push out as they push in. And that way your anus opens up and accepts what's being inserted in there. So you just start with a little bit of their finger at a time. Go in, leave it in for a few seconds, pull out. in, out, in, out. Then once you start feeling comfortable, go in a little bit more, out, in, out, until you can get the full finger in there. Now, this may take a few sessions, especially if you're nervous and you're afraid it's going to hurt. It shouldn't hurt. If you feel any pain whatsoever, you stop immediately. Will you feel a little uncomfortable? And I don't even like uncomfortable. It's a different sensation than you are normally used to if you have experienced vaginal penetration. So it's more about relaxing and being like, okay, this is normal. I'm allowed to feel this. Now, once the finger is inserted, it may feel like you have to go to the bathroom. That is a normal sensation. Once again, the anal cavity is used to things coming out, not being put in there. So when you are sitting here and you're going like this, it may feel like, oh my God, I have to go to the bathroom. I have to go to the bathroom. I have to go to the bathroom. You don't. You're fine. Sit back, relax, and just try to sink into the type of stimulation you're feeling. Ways to help this, whether you have a penis or a vagina, is to add dual stimulation into it so that your body naturally relaxes. So using a toy or your partner to be able to play with either your penis or your vulva while this is happening will help relax your body and kind of get your brain to stop focusing on this sensation and focus on the overall feeling in your body. Now, when you're ready to try other things like butt plugs, this is where you look for the smallest ones. This one is actually a fairly decent, like good size for beginners. Now, typically with butt plugs, you'll see that they're tapered so that it's easy to be inserted. They also will always have a stopper. You never, ever, for the love of God, shove anything up your butt that doesn't have a stopper. Your fingers, natural stopper is your hand, right? The toys, you need a stopper. Why? Because your anus will suck things up in there. Yep. And you will end up like an episode of Jackass where you're going to the goddamn hospital to have an x-ray because you have a butt plug stuck up your butt or a toothbrush or something. So do not stick anything up your butt that does not have a stopper. Like safety 101. Now with butt plugs, the whole purpose of a butt plug is to place it inside of you and keep it inside of you for the duration of the session. It is not to be pulled in and out. That or those are called anal beads. Anal beads, the purpose of them, and I have one, I'll grab it in a second. They have like typically tapered beads at the end. The purpose of those is to be inserted and taken out in order for the beads to cause friction and stimulation against the anal wall cavity. I think I said that right. And so they are meant to go in and out, in and out. A butt plug is not. It's meant to sit in there while you either self-pleasure or have sexual intercourse with your partner. Afterwards, you have to take them out. Anal beads, tapered off. They typically get a little bit wider or they'll be the same size. Point of these, in, pull gently out as I pull the vibrating bullet out, 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 out. Butt plugs stay in. Now, when you are taking anything out of the anus, a butt plug, an anal bead, a prostate toy, your partner's genitalia, you do not just rip it out of the anus. You slowly remove it from the anal cavity. This will help prevent any type of tears because you can get tears. It's a muscle. You can tear a muscle and will be the most comfortable for your partner. It also could help decrease the likelihood of shit coming out because you're pulling it out slower rather than yanking it. We never yank anything out of the anal cavity. Now let's talk about some not so sexy things about anal sex because we are all here to be educated. You may do all of the prep work for anal sex, and when your partner pulls out of you, there may be residue on their genitalia and or on the toy. This is completely freaking normal. Don't freak out. Don't be embarrassed. This is why it's very important for you to have cleaning wipes and or something on the side to clean up afterwards. Wipe off the area, throw it away, no big deal. If your partner goes inside of you, it's going to come out of you. Even when you have vaginal sex and you are done having sex with your partner, if they go inside of you, it does come out of you a little bit. It will get on your underwear. If you go to the bathroom, it will come out. Same thing applies to anal sex. It's not meant to be in there. It's gonna come back out. So once again, having cleaning supplies is key. Anytime we're talking about anal sex, also trying to go to the bathroom as soon as you are done so that when it comes out, it at least is coming out in a toilet. Even if you are having regular vaginal sex, you should be going to the bathroom every single time afterwards to help wash out bacteria that gets trapped in there during intercourse. This will help decrease your likelihoods of getting yeast infections and UTIs from it. Now, when you are finished with anal penetration, there is a duration of time, typically about 20 minutes to a half hour afterwards, that you may feel a little looser back there, right? This is once again because the anus is a muscle. It can stretch and then it retracts back to its normal size, but sometimes it takes a little bit to get there. So you may feel a little looser back there for 20 minutes after, maybe up to a half hour, but don't worry, it is slowly getting back to normal. Typically, if you are using a standard toy of between 5 and 6 inches, or your partner's average size, the average size of a male is typically between 5 and 6 inches, you shouldn't feel as loose afterwards. However, if you were using a larger scale toy, 8 to 10 inches, or you are using your partner and they are more well endowed, either in like girth and or length, there may be a little bit of a delay that your body needs in order to come back to normal shape. It will come back to the normal shape every single time, just like the vaginal canal. The fact that you become loose in general with either of those canals is a fear-mongering myth in order to make people feel, in order to make women less promiscuous, and number two, in order to like make people feel inferior and or dirty for trying certain types of sex. These are all lies. Don't believe them. And that is all that I have for you today on kind of the beginning steps of anal play. I will be up here tomorrow and Friday to discuss a few more things about anal sex, anal penetration, prostate play. So if you have any follow-up questions after watching this, DM me as soon as you're watching this so I can answer those questions tomorrow or Friday when I come up and discuss it.
Thank you so much for listening to Smex Ed with Amanda. And some parting words for you today. Remember this, no matter how hard society pushes you down, no matter how many times you fall, as long as you get the fuck back up, they can never stop you. You are unfuckable with. You will win. Don't allow this world to dictate how you show up in it. Don't allow society to make you bend the knee. Instead, make them bend theirs. And don't forget, if you like what you heard, go on to iTunes and Spotify and leave your girl a review. Until next time, my beautiful people.